Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I want to do a string or chain pull, and it's a little bit of an experiment because I want to check the different effects of a more thin line in comparison to a rope, very stiff rope, and a chain. So they all make different effects. I think if you have one with bigger bubbles chains, they even make a very different effect. You can see much more the lines, but I don't have that, so I'm gonna use the fine version. I think this is gonna be relatively easy to handle because it's a little heavier. What I have done before is feathers with multicolor strings. So I put color on this string and then placed it on the base and pulled it, and it gave really cool feathers. I made a clock with that, so I would really appreciate if you have a look at that, because this one is really just an experiment. So keep in mind, I'm not gonna place the colors super precise and all that. I just want to see what it does. I need to give a shout out to FluidArt because she does a lot of this figures and animals with string pulls, and also in this case I want to do the butterfly. That's exactly what I've seen there. So yeah, that's basically a copy just to see the different effects. I have a little bit of blue and gold and red, so that's what I'm gonna use. I'm gonna use a spoon to put it down, so that's again not going to be very precise. Otherwise you should have a bottle with a pin tip, then you can really apply it very nicely. Okay, I put the white base. That shouldn't be too thick, and I always have problems with this kind of designs because if you do a string pull, you will always have the buildup of the paint where you pull the string off, and I never know what to do with that to look it a little bit, make it a little bit clean, and that this, I don't know, disturbs me a little bit, but theoretically that's how it is and that's how it normally looks. Okay, so this one is really stiff. I made it a tiny bit wet just to have a little chance to move it at all, and let's give it a go. Okay, so I'm really super talented. This is eventually more like a flower. I'm not sure how. I was in the middle, I was thinking like, I don't even know how to make a butterfly. I think it, no, well, okay, it doesn't matter. And it should eventually have been a little bit bigger. Also for the purpose of the experiment, I think this is way too much paint, also for a string pull actually. So too thick, I mean. So a bottle with a pin opening is way better, but again, let's see how this turns out. Okay, so what you know now, this basically pulls a little bit of the paint and it gives you this multicolor idea. Ignore the, I wasn't completely at the side. The heavy one, of course, like you can see, pulls off way more paint. So if you do that, you have to count with a way softer look. Of course, you can play with that, but you can already see that it's a very different design. And this is not good. What you see that here up in the top, you see that how a chain makes very fine lines. So that is very cool. But in this case, it also pulls half of the paint down, because I guess that's also because it's too much paint. Let me just pull everything of this off. Okay, so this experiment is getting messier and messier, but I hope you don't mind it. That's what experiments are, and I'm just going to show you what I sometimes try to see what things do, and what you can also, of course, experiment with. And perhaps sometimes you see something where you say, oh, when she tried that, I thought I can try this and that, or you like something or whatever. That's the thing with experiments. I mean, why not? What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna show you the effects of the multicolor string, or the strings, but not by applying the paint directly onto the base, but onto the string. This is what I also have done before, and I liked it way more. So I'm gonna drop this one into the red. So what you can see here now is it gives a, ooh, what a mess, I'm making such a mess. It gives very fine line, a very soft look on the center parts and all that. So this is really nice for feathers. I really like this one a lot. But really make experiments with different types of strands and stuff. So now I'm gonna use the really heavy rope. And for me, the rope really doesn't work because it's already so stiff to handle. So this is more the classic flower, but you can see the benefit of a little heavier one, that you get the outer lines a little bit better. But I just don't like how it handles. It's also very difficult to pull off the excess paint without making such a stupid line. Okay, now I'm gonna drop the chain into turquoise. But I think if you want to go for chain, you should really go for something that is not that fine, because that's basically like a rope. It's also not heavier. So I think if you have more like little balls, bigger, I don't know how that's called in English, then you get a very different effect. You get more defined lines. what I'm doing here, this is really the classic way to make this type of flowers. You pull it down carefully. You make little S's, lots of them, few of them, whatever you like. So a little bit you can see it with the chain now. What I mean is these type of lines that is more dominant with chains. I think that's a really nice option to work with for flowers and all. Here you have like a soft look that I like for feathers, and for the flowers I like the chains more. So now I made all this mess and know for myself if I ever want to work with strings or chain pull, I would for now use the chain. It gives a little bit of definition, it's very easy to handle and has a slight weight on it. And yeah, check out that video that I made with the feathers, because that was really pretty. This is not pretty, but I hope you still enjoyed it, and I hope to see you back soon.